All right, here we go. How do you feel about that topic? Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. How are you doing otherwise? Good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. You?
That's good. It's okay. We have about 10 minutes here.
Sweet.
Try to figure out what happens on this show and what's next and all those things in life.
And I'll mute that.
Yeah, do me a favor and mute that. That was really loud. All right, just about set here. All right, let's go. I should have an audio clip leading up to this, so the intro is going to sound a little bit different, but we'll be good to go.
Sweet.
Hank Fordham is a hacker, white hat hacker, and the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker is one guy does it for good, one guy does it for bad. Guy, look at me, person. How's it going, Hank?
Not too bad, Shane. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Concerning, of course, that Canada would be a target. If you looked at politics and geopolitics in and around Canada and all that stuff, it would kind of make sense that Canada would be a target for hackers. Why not? We're kind of like the friendly neighbor. We're like the Ned Flanders of North America.
Yeah, I actually read a comment the other day. I was reading comments on the Dr. Phil video that I was in, actually, and they were talking about how, like, we're too nice.
Yeah, but it's kind of true though. I mean, if you think about it just from the perspective of Canada, right? Like, why, if we think that America is going to be a target and we're their biggest trading partner and their neighbor, why wouldn't you, any marketing strategy in the world says flank them and go after the neighbor.
Exactly.
So I'm not surprised by the notion that Canada would be a target for hacking. What does that start to look like, Hank?
Well, I mean, we saw the communications security establishment said that they're concerned over reports of a series of global malicious cyber campaigns on Monday, and that some of the activities are kind of examples of the Russian military's willingness to target critical infrastructure and international organizations. But I think it's also an example of how they're willing to target citizens directly. And one example of this is phishing campaigns directed at raising funds. Like there's been a huge increase recently in malicious campaigns targeted at collecting financial information, and I've seen hints of these coming from both Russian entities and Chinese groups. And the activities can also include things like nation states spying on each other using malware. I guess a good but kind of outdated example of that would be Stuxnet. But we also see a lot of medical centers continuing to be attacked, like the one on Universal Health Services we saw in September where they were hit by ransomware, and just kind of the raise in attacks on medical centers, and just things like, things that we've seen a lot already and we'll probably see more of with the election coming up are hack and leaks, where a group will just hack a target and dump critical or private information, trying to compromise their public image somehow. Russia is pretty well known for doing things like this with their advanced persistent threat groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these groups that are literally like hanging out, like this is all they do is hack into stuff. Because I mean, your history with hacking and how it came to the forefront of your life was you were trying to let people know that that bad guys were hacking into their personal cameras, their home security system, stuff like that. Now, this is a much larger scale. Is this like, I imagine like a factory, or is it just a bunch of dudes in their parents' basement?
Oh no, dude, you're exactly right on the dot. And on both sides of the scale. Like the scary thing for me is when I was growing up, my kind of I guess battle was trying to warn the end user against the end user. So like, I don't know, warning someone that, someone else that was sitting in their basement, or for lack of a better expression, had compromised them. But now you have to worry about like state sponsored groups, which can get like pretty scary because there's so much funds being like pumped into them, and they're like, if you look at Russia's hacker groups, or their cyber armies, if you will, they're they're so careless, destructive, and malicious in the way that they act with collateral damage and just out of spite for a little bit of like tactical advantage.
So this is, what's the way to describe it? Very well crafted, intentional, and deliberate.
Oh yeah, and I think that, you know, with like the crazy thing is it's yeah, it's not only foreign entities partaking in these activities, but it's also local ones. Like right here at home, like especially with the COVID pandemic, the extra time to practice these things, like putting together a phishing campaign or making malware, kind of allows or invites a whole new wave or generation of cyber criminals to come out of the work, so to say. And I can only hope cybersecurity professionals as well.
Hmm. So what does that look like? I mean, this sounds like a lot of work. People go and they build a software program, then they've got to build an email list, they've got to do that. Is it that detailed or is it much easier than that?
Oh, dude, it's like self-serve. You can, yeah, I mean, you can go on Google and find tutorials on how to create a phishing campaign. I hate to inspire anyone, but I mean, I've personally seen so many phishing campaigns recently. One really big one that I'm sure some of like your listeners have seen or at least heard of recently is a Facebook phishing campaign that targeted users with what looked like a YouTube video saying, "Look what I found,"
Yeah.
which would ask them to sign in and eventually ask them for credit card info.
Yeah, and it looks like you're in the video, right?
Yeah, and another one that I noticed was just a text message that had texted people warning them about a potentially expiring e-transfer. And same thing, it just harvested credit card details, but this time they were publicly visible on the server, so you could actually see them. And it's because of things like this I've created kind of like a new email. If
Hmm.
if you or anyone wants to send me, or feel free to send me your most interesting or devious phishing emails you get, you could send them to me at fish@centuriondefense.ca. Fish is with a PH and defense is with a CE. But yeah.
Yeah, and so Centurion Defense is an organization that goes provides this where Hank works, and they go to businesses and help protect them, find the vulnerabilities, so on and so forth. So that part's okay. So it seems to me like it's less work to be the bad guy than it is to be the good guy today, Hank.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a scary notion.
Yeah, and I think with the deep web just growing more and more every day, things like I was saying, things like that self-serve malware just get easier and easier to access, and learning how to use these self-serve pieces of malware and etc. just become easier and easier to do. And I think one big thing that listeners can take home with them today or tonight is use two-factor authentication and try not to reuse passwords. The talk me and you always have about what kind of what qualifies as a strong password or passphrase, and should we even still be using them?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. And then it gets scary because people are like, well, I don't want facial recognition or I don't want my fingerprint out there.
Exactly. And
Right.
with masks and everything, it's a huge battle, like a never-ending battle.
Hmm. Well, I wish it was good news, Hank, when we had you on the radio. Today, it's not. The global news piece is out there about foreign actors meddling in Canada. It's remarkable, and we're seeing it. Can you do us a favor, Hank, and keep an eye out there and let us know if you see any other info that we should know about that we can pass on?
Yes, sir. And you know what? I like to think that Canada is slowly becoming a leader in cybersecurity in our kind of ever evolving planet. So
Hmm.
while it's worrying, I have faith.
I'm going to trust you because I struggle with it, to be honest. I find it more and more concerning every day. Thanks, Hank.
Thank you, Shane.
Wunderbar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much. Thanks for your help on short notice.
Yeah, man, no worries at all. Anytime.
Awesome. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.